Hello everyone, we continue dealing with Laining, and today I'd like to deal with, can you make up the Torah reading at Mincha and when? And I'll explain what I mean. It's an absolutely mefurish halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, v'im yatzu lachar shetchil b'koram v'kedusha yecholim la'ashem kol seder kedusha v'lomar ha'kadish shalem, aval en korim ha'torah dezeu inyan acher. The Ramah paskins that if indeed you started Chazarat Hashatz with a minyan, and one person leaves, two people leave, you can continue as if there's a minyan there up until Kaddish Shalem, but do not lain, because laning is a separate thing. So laning is different than davening. And we've already seen that with davening, if one guy comes in after the minyan's over and wants to say Baruch Hu, he can. If he wants to say Aheicha Kedusha, he can. What about laning? So if indeed in the morning you didn't lain, can you lain at Mincha on a Monday or Thursday or whatnot? Comes along the Rambam and says, Moshe teken lehem Yisrael sheyukrim Torah barabim b'Shabbat uveshini uvechamishi b'shacharit uveshini uvechamishi b'shacharit, that you have to lain in the morning. So that the Rambam is very explicit, you have to lain in the morning. What's surprising is the Shulchan Aruch deletes that word. He quotes the Rambam verbatim and says b'sheni uvechamishi, but does not quote the word morning. And indeed, the Mishnah Berurah says, "B'sheni v'chamishi b'shachris, after b'bi'evet kol hayom zmana, mikom makom lechatchila mitzvah lagdim." There's no importance to shachris per se. It's just that we, like every mitzvah, try to do it the first time possible. So we shake lulav in the morning, and we blow shofar in the morning. So too, we lain in the morning. But there's no importance to the morning. It's in and of itself. Well, if a whole minyan missed the parsha on Shabbos because there was a storm, there was a hurricane, Shabbos afterwards, they can make it up. One parsha, not two. That's what the Ramah paskins. However, the Mishnah Berurah says that's in a situation where they didn't read all day. But let's say they didn't read at Shachris, and at Mincha the storm has abated, and now you can. Can you make up the Torah reading for the morning of Shabbos at Mincha? So indeed, in the Perush of the Emek Bracha, Rav Pomeranchik, on the Siddur called Sluta da Avraham, talking about the way the davened, he says, that he was with him at some convention and he missed the Monday morning Torah reading because he had an early train ride. And the question is, why? Well, we go back to our famous question. If it's a chovat hayachid, namely it's a personal obligation to lain, then you understand why. And that's exactly what Rav Shechter brings in Nefesh Harav. Then when Rav Soloveitchik used to go from Boston to New York, on Monday sometimes he missed minyan, and therefore he asked if there's enough people there, and he would make a minyan at Minchas, Ashrei, Chatzi Kaddish, and then he would say the Laining, and then they would say another Chatzi Kaddish, and continue davening as usual. If Yitzei is a Chovat HaTzibur, it's a obligation for the entire congregation, then if indeed it's a Monday or a Thursday, why do you have to limit that obligation to the morning? We just said, Zmana kol hayom. And indeed, the Dagul Mavavah says, Im yesh pnai likod kol hatzvira yiku b'mincha kol hatzvira yiku shiva gavri ki kol yom Shabbat uzmana kriya. If you missed laning on Shabbos morning, you can read it at Mincha. If a minyan missed it, and that's exactly what the Mishnah Berurah paskins in his name, and explains the Ma'atikei Shmuah with all the Torahs of Brisk, is not saying it's a chovat hayachid, but rather it's a chovat hatzibur. It's a communal obligation. Albeit the community got together on the right day, but at a different time, not in the morning, but in the afternoon. And again, he brings the famous Ma'aseh of Reb Chaim, that when he used to go to rabbinic conventions, that's exactly what he would do. He would say, hey, we're a minyan, we missed Torah reading this morning, we should read it right now. A very radical point of view, and this is the Teretz Skenim. Teretz Skenim wrote a parush on the Shulchan Aruch. His real name was Rabbi Auerbach. His year is 1620 to 1689. He says that if the community missed laning on Monday, they can even lane on Tuesday in order to make Kayim the Takana not to go 3 days without Torah reading. A very radical point of view. Most don't agree with it. But finally, there's one more point of view, and that is the Tshuvot V'Hanagot Rav Sternberg. Rav Sternberg comes and says he doesn't like this idea of reading at Mincha all the time. So if you're on a plane and you happen to miss Minyan once in a while, then 10 people can come together when they land and they can read. But don't do it bikviyut, because you're going to change the way we do things. And when you do it before Mincha, not like Rav Soloveitchik did it as part of Mincha, so it doesn't become a regular thing. So if we say it's a personal obligation, then obviously you have to make it up and do what you can. Even if it's a communal obligation and you're on the same day, but at the different time that you usually read, you'd maybe have to make it up too. But on this level, Rav Sternbuch says don't do it as part of Mincha, and Rav Soloveitchik said you can do it as part of Mincha. The Ateret Tzekanim said you can even do it on Tuesday, which I don't think is accepted, but any way you cut it, communal or personal, you should try to make up Laining if feasible. I'll just add that usually it's not feasible. If you are on the plane on Thursday and you land in Israel and there's still a few hours left to the day, try to get people to stay at the airport to Lain. I'm pretty sure you won't. It's somehow Murphy's Law that as soon as they go off the plane, they want to get out of that airport. Easier to say than to do. But if possible, whether it's a chovat hayachid or chovat hatzibor, it's a great thing to do.